Welcome to Simple SQL. In today's episode, we're going to be going over the insert, update, and delete commands. If you don't have SQL Server Management Studio open, go ahead and open it, connect to your local instance of SQL Server, and open a new query window. Inside that window, type use and your database name, and then go. And let's go ahead and execute that. And what that's going to do is point our query window at our database, which will help us with our IntelliSense, so it can help fill in some of these commands for us. To insert, which is to place a new record into a table, we type insert, and then optionally you can type into, and then your table name. In this case, I want to put a record into the table that we created last episode, which is countries, and you can see IntelliSense has found that for me. Now, if you're just continuing on from the previous episode, and you haven't closed and reopened SQL Server Management Studio, IntelliSense may not have populated countries in there for you. And the reason for that is that IntelliSense, just like the tree view on the left, does not automatically update. If countries did not appear in your list, you can press Ctrl-Shift-R to refresh IntelliSense inside your query window. Now, once we've put in the table that we want to insert into, we also need to tell it what columns we want to put values into. So we'll do an open parenthesis, and then the first column we want to put values into is our country name, and then our capital, and then our population. And remember, population is a keyword, so let's put square brackets around it. And then our life expectancy, and then our date added. Okay, and that's every column that's in our table. Now, to just add values to this, we can type values, and then we're going to put in the list of values that we want to put in there. So for our country name, we're going to be Imagination Land, and our capital is going to be Imagitopia. Our population is going to be over 9,000. And our life expectancy is going to be 54.44 years. There we go. And now for the date added, I want the date that it is right now. And there's a function in SQL we can use to get that. And that is get date. And it does require an open and close parenthesis after it, because it is what's known as a function call. If we wanted to provide an additional row of values, we just put a comma here. I'm going to line this up because I do that. And we'll get a extra country. Let's go with Unimagination Land, because I'm unimaginative, and Unimagitopia, misspelled obviously. And population is 4040, and average life expectancy is 34.32. And again, get date will be our date added, right? Okay, so now we're just going to go ahead and run that, and you can see that 2 rows were affected. So we've got a row for Imagination Land, and we've got a row for Unimagination Land. Now, we looked at the select command when we were learning about variables, and we can see that it works here as well. So I'm going to type select, and the asterisk or star character is what's commonly referred to. And what star means is all columns. So we want to select star from, and then we provide a table name. So we're going to select star from countries, which means select all columns from the countries table. We're going to highlight just that and execute. And you can see now in our result set, we've got the names of the columns listed at the top. So country name, capital, population, life expectancy, date added, and then the values that we provided. The first row has all of the information for Imagination Land. The second row has all of the information for Unimagination Land. Great. So now if we want to change an existing piece of data, the way we would do it is with the update command. So we say update, and then the table that we want to update. So in this case, we'll update countries. And then we say set, and then we pick the column that we want to change. We'll say, let's change the population. Set the population equal to 2020, and then we use what's called a where clause. And where is something that allows us to restrict the scope of our query, right? So if we just set the population to 2020, we would have done it for every row in the table. But if we put a where clause, we can say only on certain rows. So now let's say set the population 2020 where the country name is equal to Imagination Land, right? And let's select just our update statement and run that. And you can see that one row was affected. All right, so if we select star from countries again, we expect to see that our population is now 2020 for Imagination Land. Great. Now, if we wanted to remove a row from our table, we use the delete command. Now, delete does not require you to list the columns because it's going to delete an entire row. So we just say delete from, then your table, so in this case countries, and we want to use a where clause again because if we run a delete without a where clause, it will delete everything. Just like if you run an update without a where clause, it will update everything. So we say delete from countries where country name is equal to Unimagination Land. All right, so we're going to select that and run it, and one row was affected. Okay, so that is inserting, updating, and deleting, and it can get more complicated than that, but this gives us a good start for how we're going to get data into and out of our tables. In our next episode, we're going to be looking at keys and how we use them. Thanks for joining me, and I'll talk to you later.